Hello, everybody. Welcome to Big Fish, Little Fish. Hope your Friday is going well. Craig Thompson. We head to Addington tonight, and I tell you what, not often you have this sort of clash in late August. Krug against It's All About Faith in a really hell-sexy size stakes.
Yeah, good morning to you, Michael. It is obviously the highlight of the night at Addington tonight. There's some good horses going around, but certainly not of the stock of these two. And it's a very tactical race, isn't it, Michael? Because bookmakers have put up $2 for It's All About Faith, $2.10 for Krug. You would suggest Krug's a better horse, Michael, but this week is a little bit different because Krug only has to run top three to go forward towards the size stakes. It's All About Faith has got great gate speed and drawn inside it. It's going to be a very tactical affair with the All-Stars having four in the race. Very tricky. How do you see it unfolding?
You raised a really crucial point there. This is a heat of the size stakes. It's All About Faith is in the final. It is in the final. So it doesn't need to win. It could run last. It'll be in the final. Finals in about 4 weeks at Alexandra Park. Technically, Krug's in as well. Now, he ran fourth in a heat last year, or what's called a qualifying race last season, but he's basically qualified because there's been quite a few double-ups. A couple of horses have run placings in both, Craig. Just so people know the intent here, both horses are basically in the final. So they don't need to be heroic. Not one horse needs to do any more than the other. That says to me, It's All About Faith rolls to the lead unless Blair Orange really wants to push the button on Krug. And Craig, I just can't see that happening.
No, I tend to agree with you, Michael. I think they'll use the draw with It's All About Faith. He's got great gate speed. We saw it last week. We saw it in the Young Guns final. He ran home in 55.3 off the front last week, Michael. He's a very good horse. Like we've talked about in the last couple of months, he's a horse that certainly is going to get better with time because he is a very big horse. He's not like Krug, a natural 2 or 3 year old. I just see him rolling to the front here. I think $2, I think the bookmakers have got it right. It's a race in two. They've got both at even money. I favour It's All About Faith. I don't think he's a better horse, but for the event tonight, I think he's probably the right one.
Everything you said, I agree with, but I think he'll start at $1.60, $1.70. I don't think anybody will whack anything else in the race. I think those two will completely dominate the market. I think most harness racing punters will play to what they think will lead. I'm not saying Krug won't cross them, but gee, it's an ambitious thing to do when you've got a trip to Cup North coming. Again, 2 feature races next month and a whole bunch of feature races and heats October and November. I think he'll win. I think he'll get back. I think he'll get back into about $1.70, maybe even tighter. So I think It's All About Faith wins, and I think you can take the $2 with some confidence. I think Krug is actually the better horse at the moment. So I sort of agree with you, but I think the price might tighten.
Yeah, Krug had a run at the workouts during the week, Michael. He trialled up very nicely. So I know he's had, around about 18, 19 days between races. They chucked that trial in during the week. He looked pretty much forward to me, but I agree with you. It's going to be the pattern of the way the race is run will dictate who wins this race.
The other thing too is, as I said, these horses are qualified. The big two guns are both going to be in the final at Alexandra Park. So if by some fluke Blair did gun off the gate and Krug got the lead, there's no reason for them to attack. So it's going to be really, really interesting. I'm looking forward to it. There's 9 races there tonight. The first race is at 5:20 if you finished work or if you're in lockdown and you can't go to work. Krug stablemate's a really good horse, Craig. Fabrizio. Now, I spoke to Nathan Purdon, the co-trainer of Fabrizio last week, and I just randomly chucked a question at him thinking I'd get a no. I said, would you nominate for the New Zealand Cup? He said, yeah, maybe. That's a really big call for Fabrizio. But if he's going to be potentially even in the ballpark of the New Zealand Cup, and I think he's more in the zone than most of the horses in this race tonight, I think he'll probably win again.
He's a pretty good horse. I'm not sure a New Zealand Cup in November in 3 months' time is probably an idea that they would be floating seriously. I think he's mentally not there yet, Michael. He's a horse who we've seen in the past do a few things wrong. He's only had 12 starts. Hey, if the field fell away, absolutely chuck a nomination in.
We're talking more a sort of nomination throw at the stumps type.
Yeah, and see what evolves.
Talking about it means they'd think he's an open class horse.
Yeah, it's not a bad field. Heisenberg's a pretty good horse. Burnham Boy's a pretty good horse. It's a race I found very difficult to analyse, Michael, because I could see Heisenberg finding the front even from its draw. I didn't think it was that bad last week. I got it home at 55-1 behind Franco Niven and its stablemate. He's not a horse I've ever had a lot of confidence in, but
he confuses me, Heisenberg. Sometimes he looks like Craig. He looks like he's flat a long way from home. And I know he's got plenty of speed. I just can't work him out. He's a horse who actually I think he could rock up to an Ashburton Cup over 2 miles and go super and win. And he's a horse who could come back to a C3, C4 race and get beaten. So I don't know. I find him really hard to back on anyway.
And again, it'll come down to price, Michael, because if Fabrizio opens favourite, and there's a big chance he will from the draw, it's what price you get on Heisenberg, and that may entice you to back him.
The rest of the program, it's one of those programs where it's going to be dominated so much by these 2 races. Could you see 1 or 2 bets for us on a Friday when people are sick of lockdown and sick of reading and talking about COVID, and they just want a bit of escapism for a couple of hours, Craig?
2 horses I did want to mention to you, Michael. Both of them I thought were very good winning chances. Race 7, 1 Apollo. I think he's a very, very good trotter. We haven't seen him for a while. Of course, he is a horse good enough to beat Winterfell. He's a horse that went to the trials last week, went 3-1 a mile and a half, which is incredible time for a trotter at a trial. And he did it so nicely. He ran second in that trial. He was pretty much hard held at the line. I thought he'd go very close. Did You Bring the Bears the main danger? But 1 Apollo, he's come back very, very well as a 5-year-old. And the other one I wanted to highlight was in the last. Also, I mentioned a couple of times on this Big Fish, Little Fish is Cheezel. She's racing outstandingly well.
She was good last week, eh?
Well, best sectional. She actually ran home quicker than Spellbound, and she ran 3rd. There's no Spellbound there this week, Michael. I thought it's in the right rating race. We always talk about horses getting into the right race. I think Cheezel probably didn't fall into it last week and went great. A little bit easier this week.
Yep, I agree. Like a big, strong year, and I thought she's going to knock around on the grade and win 1 in every 6 or 1 in every 7, and I think this is the 1 in every 6 or 7. But yeah, Craig, the feature of the night, it's not often a 3-year-old race is, but Krug versus It's All About Faith. You're getting a chance for the bookies. They're saying to you, Craig, we can't work it out. You back whichever one you want. Thanks, mate. Enjoy the night on the punt on the Friday night. We'll talk to you on Sunday for more Big Fish and Little Fish.